Okay, I'll call the meeting to order. This is on the student advisory speakers, and again, our apologies. We ran a little late on an executive session, so we appreciate your patience and understanding. For the record, Attorney Peter Murphy is unable to attend. His oldest son graduated from college, so he's involved with that, and celebration. Congratulations, Pete, to your son on that. So first on the list is our very own student rep, who's done a wonderful job from Putnam Vocational Technical Academy. Ava Moore, senior, and advisor Serena Robinson is remote. So, young lady, the floor is yours. We're glad. Oh, I don't. Are you on, Ava? You got to.
Oh, I wasn't on.
Same
Liar.
all the time.
Liar. So as we're nearing the end of the school year, it's been sweet looking back on the last 4 years.
Thanks, Georgie.
As a senior class president, it's been a very stressful year between planning, organizing, making everyone happy, and most of all, enjoying my senior year. But throughout the help of my council, vice president, advisors, and my entire 12th grade team, including our counselors, every single event, though may not have turned out the way it was planned, memories were made, and thank God nobody got hurt. First, I wanted to point out a few events like our Senior Decision Day, which was held on May 1st, where many of you, including Dr. Denal, attended and spoke to not only our Putnam's class of 2025 seniors, but also our class of 2026 juniors. We wanted to shine a spotlight on all of our seniors despite their path, no matter what their path was, because their path is their path. So no matter if they were going to a 4-year college, a 2-year college, a military branch, or straight to the workforce, our 12th grade team, especially our counselors, wanted to make sure that we all felt welcome, celebrated, and appreciated. Mid-April, we held our very first talent show. There were many students and teachers who had the opportunity to showcase their talents, including singing and dancing. What I heard, I didn't go, but what I heard that it was a better turnout than expected, and they wanted to do it again next year. Last Friday, May 16th, the sophomore class kept our movie night tradition going, where they hosted a movie night where they played the movie Teen Beach Movie in the gym as the end-of-year get-together for all of our students. The movie night became a tradition last year with our last senior class president, and both the juniors and sophomore class presidents kept the tradition alive this year. It is an inexpensive way for the students to get together and raise money for all of the classes. I hope that they keep the tradition going again for the next few years to come. Over the last few years, it's been a very stressful, especially with all of our senior events. Picking where I'm going to be spending the next 4 years of my life, most of all trying to balance the stresses and also enjoying the last few months, including class day, which is being held next Thursday, prom, which is next Saturday, and of course, our class of 2025's graduation on June 3rd. Thank you guys all for allowing me to speak to you today.
Thank you, George. Ava, thank you very, very much. It's great to have you back again, and nice job done as usual. Springfield Public Day is in the house. Shanice Reed is the advisor. If I pronounce your first name wrong, Lashan? Miss Lazada, is she here or is she online? Lashishanese.
Yeah, yes, I'm here. Yeah. Oh my God. Wait. Oh, I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
Okay. Can y'all hear me?
I can hear you. Please correct me with your first name. My apologies.
It's Leishanis.
Leishanis. I was sort of close. My apologies on that.
It's okay.
Okay. 11th grader from Springfield Public Day. The
Yeah.
Zoom is yours.
Okay. Good evening, members of the school committee, administrators, and guests. My name is Leishani Lozada Saldana, and I am an 11th grader at Springfield Public Day High. Tonight, I want to take a second to express my appreciation for the opportunities my school has provided me. Opportunities that are not only expanding my education, but also shaping my future. This year, I had the incredible chance to take a Spanish for Health health professions course. At first, the idea of taking a specialized language class while still in high school seemed challenging, but through this experience, I've gained valuable language skills, developed a better understanding of medical terminology in Spanish, and built confidence in my ability to communicate with diverse communities. This course has made me even more excited about pursuing a career in healthcare. Another experience with a recent math field trip, where we explored how mathematics is used in stage lighting. Before this field trip, I never realized just how much calculations go into creating the perfect lighting for performances. Seeing math used in such a creative and hands-on way made me appreciate the subject more. Other than academics, I'm also proud to be involved with our school's PBIS store, where I work as a part-time employee. The PBIS store is having such a positive impact on our school's environment, rewarding students for good behavior and encouraging responsibility and respect. Being part of the team that runs the store has taught me valuable job skills like customer service, teamwork, and management that I know will help me in the future. These experiences are just a few examples of how our school goes beyond the basics to prepare students for success. I'm happy to be a part of a school that provides real world learning, career exploration, and personal growth. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Lozada. Thank you, Ms. Lozada, and continued success. We'll now move to the High School of Science and Technology. Advisors Robert Porter, Kamora Diaz, senior. Come on up. Wait a minute, Georgia will help you out. Mr. Porter, I like that boat.
Okay, sorry, y'all. Good evening, everyone. As you said, my name is Kamora Diaz, and I am the senior class president for SciTech. While being at SciTech, I've witnessed a lot of beautiful things. One thing I can say is that the inclusivity in our school has been something that stuck with me most. Our transitional kids, the last couple of weeks, have been running a coffee cafe where they basically just sell coffee to teachers and get the rich experience of being able to have conversations with them beyond academics. Last meeting, when I was here, I mentioned how we offered free services to the boys and girls going to our senior prom, and I'm happy to say that last Friday we were able to successfully carry that out. Students have an amazing time with the great DJ, and then of course this inflatable photo booth that they all loved. As of yesterday, we had our senior cookout, which was a bittersweet moment. I was happy because of course I was able to spend time with my classmates, but I was also sad to think that these are the last couple of moments that I'm gonna have with them as a senior. As I'm coming close to my graduation, I've reflected a lot on SciTech as a whole, to think of how much the school's grown within itself when it comes to vocationals, to think that my freshman year, we didn't even have vocationals in our school, and now the lowerclassmen have such a good opportunity makes me happy. And then for the upperclassmen, they got the opportunity of having internships and learning how to network and learning how to do interviews and speak, things that will help them beyond school. With our music department, the band has gotten to play festivals in and outside of school. For example, we had them mentoring through music and Ignite, and it just continues to grow. My growth personally has been a lot within my high school years at SciTech. I feel like SciTech has been such a strong place to help me grow my confidence as a young lady. Before, I was very anxious my freshman year coming to the school. Simple things like speaking in front of you guys, I was literally always shaking and nervous, but the staff there, and especially my counselors, have pushed me and believed in me more than I can believe in myself, which I'm very grateful for. And as I'm just coming to an end, I do believe that SciTech is going to achieve great things. From the outside, it seems like a simple school. If I'm being honest, I didn't really have any interest going there when I first came down here, but I don't think I would have chosen any other high school to be at because I've grown in such a different way that I wouldn't have an experience at any other high school down here. So thank you for speaking with me.
Madam President, good job. Very good job, Madam President. Very good, Mr. Diaz. Continued success. Okay, these are online, remote council representatives, Renaissance High School, and I see Principal Derek Wright, who's here. Brian Avila, 11th grade. Brian?
Hello. Can you see me?
See you, Brian.
Hello.
How are you?
Hello, school committee and attendees. As Renaissance begins to approach the end of the school year, a lot of fun traditions of ours are coming around. Tomorrow, near the end of the day, our seniors will be marching out of the school as all grade levels stand by in the hallways cheering them on. Many of my own classmates are making posters for seniors as we speak. We as a school always look forward to this moment. It inspires our middle schoolers and high school for what is to come. Prior to this, we had Declaration Day. Seniors have the opportunity to be celebrated by their lower classmen as they shared the path they have chosen to take, whether it be college, a trade school, an apprenticeship. Anything was worthy of our respect, and everyone was celebrated. So, as we approach the end of the school year and approach seniors' graduation day, I would like to congratulate all of our seniors and the staff that has supported them through this journey. And for all those wondering, we did have an amazing prom. I loved being such a I loved being a part of such an amazing community. And to see and watch our current 11th and 12th graders have fun and dance was bittersweet. Thank you, and that is all.
Nice job. Thank you, Mr. Avila. Thank you, Brian. Continued success, too. Last but not least is Springfield Virtual School. Principal Allison Lynch, I see, is always here. And Tony Martins. Oh, Anthony's here. All right, Tony. Presto changeo, you're here. Okay. Good to see you.
Good to see you. It's been a while. All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Tony Martins, and I am a junior, soon to be a senior next year, woo-woo, at the Springfield Virtual School. This isn't my first time being in this room. I spoke to the members of the school committee back when I was in middle school. I was a lot shorter than I am now, but this isn't my first rodeo. A fun fact about myself is that I want to pursue a career in education after college. Ever since I was in elementary school, I've wanted to become a first grade teacher. I have always felt a connection with the younger kids, and that's the path I hope to follow in college and after, and who knows, maybe right here in Springfield.
Great. Love to have you.
When it comes to my school, I like learning. I like to be given new knowledge, so in every one of my classes at the virtual school, you will always see me with a notebook in hand. I'm also very involved at our school. Being the 11th grade student representative, I've spent the last year making sure that my fellow students get everything they want out of school, along with our after-school clubs. I've had the honor of making sure that they run smoothly. People, teachers, Miss Lynch even, often ask me how I keep it all together. What can I say? I like to keep busy. This year marked the second prom at SVS, and I have to say, it was a hit. The planning process of this year's prom contributed to the success. We began the process months ahead of time and made sure to get a lot of input. We made flyers, we made forms. Some kids in my school might say I bugged them with both of them. And I made sure to go to different classes to make sure my peers knew all the details. Pictures from this year can be found on Mass Live and the SVS Facebook page. Quick little plug for, our school. Tomorrow we are getting together in person for our Spring Fling event, which is essentially our type of field day. There will be a variety of fun and exciting table activities and games for our students hosted by our amazing staff. To highlight one of the tables that will be featured, our Empowerment Club, which will feature multiple tables to continue promoting our message of how vital mental health is. The Empowerment Club has succeeded with that this year, encouraging our students to focus more on their mental health, and we have more exciting plans for next year. Another exciting moment that is happening at Spring Fling is a group photo to commemorate the day. This year, SVS has been really focused on capturing the memories that we create, and to end the year, this event was no exception. We are looking forward to reflecting on all of these amazing memories in our school's first yearbook as well. They go through way too much and don't get enough credit for that, so shout out to our yearbook. The countdown to graduation for our seniors is on. The SVS graduation is June 6th at the King Philip Stockade at Forest Park, but can also be streamed on YouTube starting at 3 p.m. that day. Many of our seniors have been with SVS for all 4 years of their high school careers, and they have grown so much. To celebrate them and their achievements, they are going on their class trip to High Meadows next week. We're praying for good weather. Yeah. Congratulations to the 2025 class. We will miss you. To support the district's diversity, inclusion, and racial equality initiative, our virtual school students have all created identity maps during their crew time. These maps gave students a deeper insight into themselves as people and members of their community. This activity allowed students to express themselves and learn about their peers in a valuable way. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to speak to you all this evening and share all the things happening at the virtual school. I look forward to seeing everyone next year and continuing to not only represent my student body, but continue to make our community better.
Allison, another good one. Tony, great job. You have moxie, young man, and I hope with your enthusiasm and your knowledge that you do become a first grade teacher right here in Springfield. Okay, that concludes our student advisory speakers. They all did a great job. We appreciate that, and to their advisors. So we will conclude this meeting, and we'll do a 1 minute recess. Then we'll go into our regularly scheduled meeting. You're more than welcome to stay.
Mr. Gonzalez. Here.
I'm sorry again. Thank you, George. My technical difficulties. We'll call the meeting to order. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Mr. Gonzalez. Here. Attorney Murphy. Absent.
Attorney Murphy, for the record, his son is graduating from college, so he sends his regrets, and he's enjoying. They have celebrations going on. Congratulations to his son.
Mr. Collins.
Yes.
Ms. Gresham.
Yes.
Ms. Hurst.
Here.
Present. Here.
I took you off.
Ms. Monroe Naylor.
Present.
Mayor Sarno.
Brittany, stop with these trick questions. President, if we could all please rise for a moment of silence, we'll dedicate to all our veterans who made the ultimate sacrifices and their families, and then we'll go into the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. As we go into Memorial Day weekend, and again, it's important that we remember our veterans who made the ultimate sacrifices and their families who stood by them in that empty seat. Now, we're also joined, and just when you thought you were out, We drag you right back in. Ava Moore is our student rep from Putnam Vocational Technical Academy, and we're very happy to have you here. So we'll move on to the agenda. Section 2, approval of the minutes. A vote to approve the minutes of school committee regular meeting on April 10th, 2025. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, is there a motion? Motion by Vice Chair Nail, is there a second? Second by Mr. Collins. Roll call vote is required. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Mr. Gonzalez.
Yes.
Attorney Murphy, absent. Mr. Collins.
Yes.
Ms. Gresham.
Yes.
Ms. Hurst.
Yes.
Ms. Monroe-Naylor.
Yes.
Mayor Sarno.
Yes, board of sufficient votes, matter passes. B is the vote to approve the minutes of the school committee's special meeting on April 16th, 2025. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, is there a motion on the floor, please?
So moved.
Motion by Vice Chair Naylor, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Gresham. Roll call vote is required. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Mr. Gonzalez.
Yes.
Attorney Murphy, absent. Mr. Collins.
Yes.
Ms. Gresham.
Yes.
Ms. Hurst.
Yes.
Ms. Monroe-Naylor.
Yes.
Mayor Sarno.
Yes, board of sufficient votes, matter passes. Thank you. C is the vote to approve the minutes of school committee special meeting on April 30th, 2025. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, is there a motion on the floor, please?
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Gresham, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Collins. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Mr. Gonzalez.
Yes.
Attorney Murphy, absent. Mr. Collins.
Yes.
Ms. Gresham.
Yes.
Ms. Hurst.
Yes.
Ms. Monroe-Naylor.
Yes.
Mayor Sarno.
Yes, board of sufficient votes, matter passes. Thank you very much. D, vote to approve the minutes of school committee special meeting on May 8th, 2025. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, is there a motion on the floor, please?
So moved.
Motion by Vice Chair Nail, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Hurst. Roll call vote is required. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Mr. Gonzalez.
Yes.
Attorney Murphy, absent. Mr. Collins.
Yes.
Ms. Gresham.
Yes.
Ms. Hurst.
Yes.
Ms. Monroe-Naylor.
Yes.
Mayor Sarno.
Yes, board of sufficient votes, matter passes. Thank you very much. Voting items again. A is to approve Renaissance overnight field trip request to Redgate Farm in Ashfield, Massachusetts, departing June 11th, 2025, returning June 13th, 2025. I know Principal Wright is here. Madam Superintendent, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good evening, everyone. It's great to be here again this evening. And thank you, Mr. Mayor, for reminding us of the importance of remembering those who gave their all during Memorial Day weekend. It gives me great pleasure to present again another opportunity for our students to learn at Redgate Farm. We know it's a favorite destination of the students and teachers here in Springfield, and we know that it gives our students an opportunity to build community based on kindness and mutual respect. Not just respect for each other, but respect for the farm and what the farm can do for us as we live off of those farms and receive from those farms. So through the work, students are going to experience farm life at its best. They're going to be doing things on the farm that will allow them to have a rich, meaningful, collaborative, collegial?
Don't ask me.
Hands-on experience. This is real work. Nothing's going to be watered down or tailored because they want to make sure that the students are engaging in the real work and the real life of a farm. Beekeeping, blacksmithing, painting, identifying crops, doing cooking, farm to table cooking, all of those rich, fun experiences students will be able to engage in. So this is not just a field trip for them to get on the bus and go far away. It's going to be a rich, meaningful learning experience that they'll remember from now until adulthood, and they'll incorporate many of these skills into their lives as lifelong learners.
Thank you, Superintendent.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
You're off the hook, Principal Wright. Motion made by
Second, Mr. Mayor.
Motion made by Mr. Gonzalez, seconded by Vice Chair Naylor. Any questions or comments? Hearing none. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Mr. Gonzalez.
Yes.
Attorney Murphy, absent. Mr. Collins.
Yes.
Ms. Gresham.
Yes.
Ms. Hurst.
Yes.
Ms. Monroe-Naylor.
Yes.
Mayor Sarno.
Yes, board of sufficient votes, matter passes. Thank you, and have a great time, students. B is a vote to ratify the Student Assignment Services Unit contract. Madam Superintendent?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So as you know, our student assignment services individuals, those folks who work there diligently and faithfully, we need them. So we are very happy that we were able to settle a very competitive contract with them, and we're presenting it to the school committee this evening for a signature.
Thank you, Superintendent Denal. We thank the negotiating team, also Patrick Roach, Attorney Sweeney, and the rest of your administration on that. Any questions or comments?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Motion made by Mr. Gonzalez, or second?
Second.
So tie there. Ms. Hurst is second. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Mr. Gonzalez.
Yes.
Attorney Murphy. Absent. Mr. Collins.
Yes.
Ms. Gresham.
Yes.
Ms. Hurst.
Yes.
Ms. Bruno-Naylor.
Yes.
Mayor Sarno.
Yes, more than sufficient votes, the matter passes. Thank you very much. We'll now move, C now is a vote to approve the request for school committee that James Edward Lewis be awarded the City of Springfield diploma. Dr. Yolanda Johnson's here. I'll turn it over to Superintendent Dr. Denal, please.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor. So it was the will and the wisdom of the school committee to provide an opportunity for students to attain a City of Springfield diploma. As you know, this diploma will continue to open doors for individuals for whether they choose college or career, but we know that the skill set that they earn after completing the course requirements of the City of Springfield diploma will allow them to pursue the path that they choose into post-secondary success.
Thank you, Dr. Denal. Any questions or comments?
So moved, Mr.
Motion by Mr. Gonzalez, or second?
Second.
Second by Vice Chair Naylor. Roll call vote is required. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Mr. Gonzalez.
Yes.
Attorney Murphy. Absent. Mr. Collins.
Congratulations, James. Yes.
Ms. Gresham.
Yes.
Ms. Hurst.
Yes.
Ms. Bruno-Naylor.
Yes.
Mayor Sarno.
Yes, more than sufficient votes, the matter passes. Congratulations, Mr. Lewis. D would now be vote to approve the request of school committee that Nathan Christopher George Flores be awarded a City of Springfield diploma. Again, Dr. Yolanda Johnson's here. I'll turn it over to Superintendent, Dr. Denal, please.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor. This is another candidate who has persevered, worked hard, earned the credentials to be awarded the diploma.
Thank you, Superintendent Denal. Any questions or comments?
So moved, Mr.
By
Chairman.
Mr. Gonzalez, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Vice Chair Naylor. Roll call vote is required. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Mr. Gonzalez.
Yes.
Attorney Murphy. Absent. Mr. Collins.
Congratulations, Nathan. Yes.
Ms. Gresham. Ms. Hurst.
Yes.
Ms. Bruno-Naylor.
Yes.
Mayor Sarno.
Yes, more than sufficient votes, matter passes. Congratulations, Nathan, and good luck, continued success. D would be to, I'm sorry, we'll move to E, vote to approve request for school committee of Nailea Alice Torres, I hope I didn't pronounce that first name wrong, be awarded the City of Springfield diploma. Again, Dr. Yolanda Johnson is here. I'll turn it over to Superintendent Dr. Denal, please.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor. We're proud of the achievements of our students, and Ms. Torres is most definitely poised and ready to take on the world once we award her that City of Springfield diploma.
Did you hear that, Ms. Torres? You're going to take on the world. That's what Superintendent said. So, is there a motion on the floor, please?
So moved.
Motion by, wait a minute, motion by Vice Chair Naylor. Is there a second?
Second.
Oh, gee. Second by Ms. Gresham. Roll call vote is required. Mr. Clerk, please call roll. Like the ties.
Mr. Gonzalez.
Yes.
Attorney Murphy. Absent. Mr. Collins.
Congratulations, Nayala. Yes.
Ms. Gresham.
Yes.
Ms. Hurst.
Yes.
Ms. Bruno-Naylor.
Yes.
Mayor Sarno.
Yes, congratulations, Nyala, and continued success. More than sufficient votes, this matter passes. Thank you. We'll now move to Section 4 presentation. This is post-secondary success. Dr. Yolanda Johnson's here. I'll turn it over to Superintendent Dr. Denal.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor. With the conclusion of my first 100 days in this role, I was able to take a look at the data, the feedback, the focus groups, and all the information that I gleaned from those days to present 4 district priorities: early literacy, middle school transformation, college and career readiness, and post-secondary success. We have been receiving presentations on all of those district priorities, and this evening is the fourth and final presentation on the 4 district priorities, post-secondary success. Dr. Yolanda Johnson has been doing this work for a number of years and leading the charge, and we are amplifying her voice this evening as she is joined by Dr. Joyce Brown from the National Post-Secondary Institute. There have been several opportunities throughout the district to lift this work to the next level. We know that our students, as you have seen this evening and throughout the year that I've been here, I am increasingly impressed with the poise, the maturity, and how our students are able to present themselves in a way that just makes us proud as a district. We want to make sure, yeah, we can definitely for our students. I say without apology, we have the best and the brightest students. This work will help us to continue to provide them with the skills and the support that they need to achieve the greatness that they are set out to achieve after receiving that K through 12 education here in the best district in Massachusetts. I'm going to allow Dr. Johnson and Dr. Brown to speak to this further. Thank you.
Dr. Brown, thank you for being here this evening, too. Dr. Johnson, a lot of doctors in here tonight.
Good evening.
No.
No. Good evening. Thank you. I'm just so happy I don't have a laptop to try to balance. So, good evening to everyone. This presentation is a culmination of how we will collectively work to ensure a post-secondary pathway for every Springfield Public Schools graduate that places them on a trajectory to earn a living wage. Former U.S. Secretary Ernie Duncan stated that a post-secondary education is the ticket to economic success in America. This evening, we will provide you with an overview of what we have been doing to establish a culture where we improve student outcomes and ensure that race, ethnicity, and outcome are not predictors of post-secondary success. We will share the why, the what, and the how. We spent Wednesday and today together as a district team and with our school-based teams to operationalize our work, where we will establish structures and put monitoring processes in place to ensure college and career success. So next, next we will have a video presentation from our Secretary of Education, Dr. Patrick Tutwiler.
Members of the committee, Superintendent Denal, educators, families, and students, my apologies that I cannot be here with you tonight, but I want you to know how grateful I am for all of you, without whom the work for our students in Springfield would not be possible. At the Executive Office of Education, our guiding vision is clear. We work to connect all Massachusetts residents with a high-quality education, regardless of their circumstances, zip code, or socioeconomic status. I just want to take a moment to reaffirm the Healy-Driscoll administration's deep commitment to advancing every student into a meaningful post-secondary pathway, be that college, career, or both. This vision is central to our work at the Executive Office of Education, and Springfield Public Schools is helping to bring that vision to life, where initiatives like early college and innovation career pathways that reimagine high school are transforming how our students learn and succeed. Springfield is the 3rd largest school district in Massachusetts, and with that comes both opportunity and responsibility. The work happening there is not just critical for our students, it's critical for the Commonwealth as a whole. Superintendent Denal has laid out 4 clear priority areas: early literacy, transforming middle schools, college and career readiness, and post-secondary success. Those are not just words on a page. Together with the superintendent, your district is actively putting systems in place to monitor progress and measure results. That level of intentionality is what drives outcomes. When a superintendent communicates a district-wide post-secondary vision grounded in concrete goals, real change can follow. Springfield is proving that. Your efforts align programs and partnerships from elementary through high school. All of those are setting students up for success. Take, for example, the early college program at High School of Commerce, with over 500 students enrolled this past fall and strong partnerships with Westfield State and Springfield Technical Community College. In collaboration with the Springfield Empowerment Zone partnership, the district is giving hundreds of young people the chance to earn college credit while still in high school. That is game-changing. You don't stop there. Across the district, your innovation career pathways are opening doors. At Springfield Conservatory of the Arts, students are building skills in information technology. At Springfield Renaissance School, they're diving into environmental and life sciences. And at High School of Commerce, students are exploring the high-demand field of manufacturing. This kind of forward-looking, student-centered planning is exactly what we hope to see across the state. Springfield Superintendent, district leaders, and the school committee are all coming together and working together to design systems that support all students in reaching their college and career goals. So tonight, I want to thank you for your partnership and, most importantly, your belief in what's possible for every student in the district. Together, we are building pathways that expand opportunity, break down barriers, and set students on the road to lifelong success. Thank you. Members of the committee, Superintendent Bernal.
Good evening, everybody. Bob St. Lawrence, and what we wanted to do to prime the remainder of the presentation is to start with some data. And so we'll fast forward a few slides.
You have a green light on the mic? Bend it up towards your mouth, that's all. You gotta bring it up.
So we would like to begin this evening with some data about our community first. So on the slide, we have some information on the post-secondary education levels of the residents in Springfield. So the percent of the population in Springfield with a high school diploma, as we can see, is 80%, whereas the state of Massachusetts, the rate is 91%. The percent of residents with a bachelor's degree, 20%. The state of Massachusetts, 46%. We see the residents with a bachelor's degree broken down by race, ethnicity, as we move left to right through the presentation. Now, taking some data from the U.S. Census Bureau, we wanted to show the correlation between education levels and earnings for our residents in Springfield. And so what we see is a pretty strong correlation. Whereas the education levels increase, so does the earnings. In particular, if we take a look at our high school graduates' earnings in Springfield of $34.8 thousand, we see a $21.4 thousand increase going to the bachelor's degree level. In addition, that same correlation applies to the poverty rate. As the education level increases, we see that the number of residents in the poverty rate statistic decreases. Now, this is not to say that the college degree attainment is the only path to economic security, but I think that we see some strong statistical evidence on why it's important to discuss. Moving on to the next slide, we wanted to unpack post-secondary indicators, and we're going to use the class of 2024, and we also have with it some four-year trend data. Again, these data come from the National Student Clearinghouse, which is a nonprofit organization that provides verified enrollment data from post-secondary institutions throughout the country. So if we take a look at our 1,526 graduates from the class of 2024 last year, we see that 589 of those students went on to enroll in college in the fall. So that is a rate of 38.6%. We see that some of the top enrolled institutions for our graduates are regional. So we see numbers for Springfield Technical Community College, Western New England University, Holyoke Community College, Westfield State University, and American International College as our top post-secondary enrollment destinations for our graduates. Unpacking these post-secondary enrollment rates for selected populations, we see the numbers by race and ethnicity. And I want to call out a couple interesting statistics. Number one is our female graduates are enrolling in post-secondary at rates higher than our male graduates. Secondarily, our African American and Asian students are enrolling in post-secondary at higher rates than our Hispanic graduates. We also have for you statistics specific to our MLL population and our exceptional learner population, and you can see in both of those cases, the rates are lower than the district average. Moving down to the second half of the slides, we, for each of our graduates, have information on what the high school completion plans are for each of our graduates. And what we see is that of the class of 2024, 51% of our graduates had planned to attend college. But of that 51%, only 67% of those students actually enrolled later that fall. Finally, we have some FAFSA completion information. And what we have here is that the 44% of our graduates of 2024 completed their FAFSA application. And overall, the students that we see completing their FAFSA applications, 68% of those students ultimately go on to enroll in post-secondary education. Whereas those students that do not complete their FAFSA application, only 11% of those students ultimately end up enrolling in a post-secondary institution. Now we have some additional statistics that we're going to share with you, and Dr. Yolanda Johnson will be sharing those next.
So we're just going to go back to the slide on youth with low educational attainment. I'm not going to read to you every bullet, but I do want to kind of summarize. This comes from national research, but it also, when we looked at that slide, that gives us the context of the city of Springfield. There was some alignment that I wanted to share. So as you see, youth with low educational attainment often face challenges in several areas, including employment, health, and overall well-being. What I will emphasize here is the metric on illiteracy is one of the focuses areas for Dr. Denal has prioritized, which is early literacy. So I'm going to just read to you a quote from some research. Currently, more than 48 million adults in the United States have reading proficiency at the 3rd grade level. A staggering statistic with profound implications on the future of our workforce and economy. The societal costs of illiteracy are equally alarming, as the inability to read across the United States, the inability to read costs the United States taxpayers $224 billion annually. These numbers point to the urgent need for systemic change in how we teach children to read and the vital importance of literacy. So these priority areas are all connected to post-secondary success. Next slide. We're going to the seat. There we go. Thank you. So we have several pathways for our students under the umbrella of career and technical education. So as you see from this slide, CTE has a positive impact on post-secondary success, increasing enrollment in both 2- and 4-year colleges, and leading to higher rates of industry-recognized credential attainment. CTE also boosts graduation rates and helps students to develop essential skills for both college and career. With the noted positive impact of CTE, what I want to underscore here is that when we think about the implications of this national research on Springfield, we really need to be mindful of that CTE, yes, is a pathway for our students. They also must pass very important certification courses to earn the certification in that path that they have selected. So many of these are done in collaboration with institutions of higher education, mostly our two-year colleges. But we want to support our students in the area of entrepreneurship, their aspirations to own their own businesses, should they choose, as well as pursue CTE pathways that have higher earning wages, such as an electrician, which requires certification. It's also important to note that even with CTE pathways, those exams that they have to pass requires that they perform well in their academic coursework while they're a student in high school and before high school. But whether it's college or career, we must understand that the preparation is the same. It's the same. We need a workforce with the academic skills to be a part of our growing community. So next I will ask Dr. Joyce Brown, who is the co-founder of the National Post-Secondary Institute, to come forward.
Well, good evening, school committee. It is indeed my pleasure to be able to share with you the work we're doing in partnership with Springfield Public Schools. My name is Joyce Brown, and I'm from Chicago. I am one of the founders of the National Post-Secondary Strategy Institute. I emphasize the word strategy because that's what our organization does. We go across the United States working with school districts, school district leaders to help them put in place systems, structures, processes, and procedures to help every single kid achieve. Now, the NIPSE model has three components of change. They are integrated together, and when they work together, we in Chicago and in other districts across the nation have seen amazing things happen. This is why we think that aligning the work of the National Post-Secondary Strategy Institute with Springfield Public Schools is the right mix to get all of the outcomes that I've heard everybody express here as a desire for all kids to achieve post-secondary success and, most importantly, economic prosperity. Now, those three levers of change are on the screen. Probably can't read them, but the first is a leadership vision. The leader of the district must express a clear vision that's tied to measurable data points. Dr. Denal has done that. Those 4 priority areas are very clear to everyone. The second piece is a data strategy. You've heard the data presented. We have to put that data in front of everybody because that informs the why of why we must believe that this work is the right thing to do. We say in Chicago, when you believe, it'll change your behaviors. You have to act like you believe that all kids, that's the SPED kids, the English language learner kids, the homeless kids, the kids with multiple tattoos and purple hair, the incarcerated kids coming out the juvenile justice system, all of those kids deserve some kind of pathway. We have to believe and help them. I was thrilled that the young people mentioned their counselors and thanked them for the support that they had given them, because the third piece of the NIPSE model is school counselor engagement. And this is the space that I enter from. I was a teacher for 12 years before I moved into counseling, before becoming one of those district administrators as director of school counseling. I opened the doors of my high school back in the early 70s, stayed there for 34 years. So when they asked me, did I want to have a central office position, I said no, because I love children. But I could affect change and was allowed and empowered to affect change, and that's the third component of the model. people view counselors as just doing social and emotional work, but they have to be empowered to support the post-secondary advising. I had the privilege of working under Superintendent Arnie Duncan, who later became the U.S. Department of Education's Secretary of Education. That was an amazing experience because he allowed all of these three pieces to work together. And for the past 20 years, these practices that and strategies that we share, not just with Springfield, but we've worked with over 300 districts nationally, all the big ones in New York, LA, lots of districts in Texas. But the core thing is that they integrate these three components around a model of central office leaders guiding this work. And that's what we're doing. And we believe that the integrating of these three areas are going to give amazing results. At the center of the NIPSE model is student success. And so when we preach all, we mean all, everyone. I feel like I'm a Springfield Public Schools employee. I've had the pleasure of meeting your principals, your teachers, your counselors, your central office districts, your central office district leaders, and Dr. Johnson is a lifelong friend of mine. I'm not new to Springfield Public Schools. When we were baby counselors together, we got in this cohort of district leaders with College Board who were from the urban districts trying to move children. So it's always, always exciting when we meet people who have the same mindset. And I love the fact that your superintendent was a former school counselor as well. So counselors rock, and I've had lots of interaction with Dr. Denal as well. So more about the work that we're doing on the next slide. This is a headline that I want you to look at. What would you do if you saw this on the front page of your newspaper? It says of 100 freshmen that enter Chicago Public Schools, only 6 will get a college degree in 6 years. This is what I faced when I entered central office. And I offer this as a perspective to say the NIPSE team, we refer to ourselves fondly as NIPSE. It's a mouthful to say National Post-Secondary Strategy Institute. But this is what we faced, a lot of criticism. But what we did was organize structures, processes, and procedures using data to make up things to help kids. Now, Superintendent Duncan gave us this vision. Just like you have your 4 priority areas, he said, make sure every Chicago public school student knows that college is possible. It didn't say they have to go, but they all must know the steps. And by college, we mean all of the pathways into post-secondary, 2-year, 4-year trade, apprenticeship, military, or entering the workforce with a living wage. So I say this to say the teaming of the NIPSE team with the Springfield leaders is not coming from a place of theory. It's coming from a place of lived experiences. You all know about Chicago. We're on the news every day. High violence, high crime, homelessness. We're a sanctuary city. And so we face these challenges, but despite those challenges, we've had a steady increase in college enrollment for the past 20 years because of these structures and processes that we put in place and we're sharing with your district leaders. Next slide, please. These are the metrics. Our work is grounded in data. You can't see this, but we can get these to you. But the metrics span 3 areas, elementary, middle, and high. We want to structure a comprehensive model that's K through 12. We find in many districts the work begins during the 12th grade year. That's really too late. Some people start grade 11. But we know that there are well-resourced districts where people start talking about what do you want to be when you leave high school from the moment they leave the cradle? So you should know that we are working feverishly to present the data in a user-friendly manner so that all stakeholders can pick it up and go to work. On the next slide, we want to emphasize the fact that we want sustainability to happen. So these practices and strategies that we're sharing, we want to institutionalize them. so that when Dr. Denal is gone, Dr. Johnson is gone, when the mayor is gone, everything that we put in place remains in place. It's not personality driven. We know that this has happened and can happen because the things that we made up 20 years ago in Chicago have been expanded and built upon, but the framework is still in place. One of the best things we did was we made up FAFSA. You may not have known that, right? We sat around a table and we were trying to figure out how to make post-secondary enrollment increase, and we decided that money was the factor. We partnered with our state agency and off we went. Now, there's 5 states that have FAFSA as a graduation requirement in many districts. And that's just one example of the sustainability factor. So how are we going to achieve this? What we've been working on with your district teams is this idea of collaborative conversations around data. And we have named them post-secondary success teams. These post-secondary success teams will be implemented at the district level because we know that people work in silos. This is a collaborative model based upon a simple idea. Get in the room, look at the data, talk about what's happening, and then get up, stop admiring it, do something, put things in place, measure yourself, and have accountability. So these, in January when I was out here, I introduced the idea. We have been back here for the past 2 days talking again with your central office department staff and your school-based leaders about this idea of implementing these teams next fall. And we know that when they're in place, intentionally working together, we can use all of the degrees that are present in that room to get results for kids and move these 4 priority areas forward. So our approach is to set up structures and systems to measure results, but it's a collaborative model, and that's how we get results. And so the work taking place has begun. I want to tell you that your stakeholders are just open to hearing all of the ideas. They're very open to innovate, create, and we are happy that they have embraced this idea of collaborating around intentionality. In January, we talked to principals and counselor teams from every school, brought them all into a room, first time ever. Today, we added teachers in, and it was really great because this work cannot be done in silos. Everybody has to be together. And I'm thrilled that I've had the opportunity to engage you this evening in this work as well. So thank you, and I'll take any questions that you might have.
Madam Superintendent, may I ask the folks that are here that are on the team to stand at central office? Not work that's done alone. It's a coalition of the willing who are committed. So thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Johnson. Thank you, Dr. Brown, and safe travels back to the Windy City, also Chicago. Any questions or comments for Dr. Johnson or Dr. Brown?
I do, Mr. Mayor.
Vice Chair Naylor, please.
I'm looking at the kickoff sessions that you have referenced, and as a matter of fact, I was talking to some counselors today, and they were excited about some of this work that's happening. So it's really nice not to just hear from you all presenting, but also to have staff talk about how excited they are to be invited into these spaces to have these conversations. It's a diverse group of folks that are having these conversations, and it seems to me to be not only intentional to make sure that our kids are centered, but also that the folks who are serving our students are centered as well. So I want to thank you for that, for your vision in doing this work, Dr. Denal, as well for spearheading this work. I'm super excited by everything that I heard, and I will definitely have more questions later. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chair Naylor. Any other questions or comments? Discretion, please.
Thank Dr. Johnson and Dr. Joyce Brown for the presentation, and the whole team that's working to make sure that our students are successful. So with the CTE program, is it offered in middle school? Are they introduced to it in middle school?
Madam Superintendent has charged us with exploring how we can integrate this more into our middle schools. We do have some very exciting things happening this summer for our students to have some real hands-on experiences and with a culminating activity on a college campus. So we're hoping that that will begin to get our middle schoolers thinking about this so that we can definitely do more vertical planning to support kids around the CTE pathways. So more to come.
Thank you, Ms. Gresham. That's a good point Ms. Gresham brings up, because I remember early on in 10 years mayor and with the school committeeman, Chris Collins, that where the gap was middle school. And that's where we were losing ground. And the jump wasn't occurring in high school. And in turn, if it didn't occur in high school, then it wasn't going to show up for college and or certified programs, technical, vocational. We really have turned the tide tremendously, much as through your work, Dr. Brown, in Chicago, going from 6 out of 100 to jumping that up on it. So, middle school is the area really help those young ladies, young men say, I can and will achieve. So that's a good point you brought up, Ms. Gresham. But I remember Chris and I, that was one of our first challenges 16, 17 years ago.
And you light the fire on those middle schoolers to go into the trades and those things. If we can get back there, I think we serve a lot of kids.
Any other questions or comments?
Yep, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mr. Gonzalez, please.
I just wanted to ask a question on the career and technical education piece. This is something I believe that we looked at the outcomes of the CTE models in the district in our vocational subcommittee this year. And one of the conversations that we began to have was how do we expand career and technical education given the outcomes versus students that are not enrolled in CT, and also given the demand that we have for schools such as Putnam. And I'm just curious, Madam Superintendent, certainly don't mean to put you on the spot. We can circle back and have another vocational subcommittee. Has there been any thought about how do we expand this on the district-wide level? I know there's been some interest around this and there's a demand, and it's also a common constituent service item, certainly that I get as a school committee member, and I'm sure that others get as well. Parents who want their children enrolled traditional academics, but also in a technical trade.
Thank you so much for that question. We are definitely taking a look at our current offerings and taking a closer look at the data of the students in those current offerings and making sure that we're maximizing those opportunities and making sure that we are implementing those programs with the instructors that we need in order to make sure that those students are receiving that career-focused instruction. So as you know, many of the CTE instructors that are from the career field don't necessarily have the same credentialing pathway as our traditional teachers. So we're working with HR as well as other industry officials to make sure that we're able to recruit and retain and support them in their certification. So we want to make sure the staff is in place so that we can expand in a way that will allow it to be sustainable.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gonzalez. And we have expanded that to the high school of science technology now. And where there was a stigma many, many years ago, if you went to trade school, not anymore. With your hands and you do it well and you get that science and math, you can make one hell of a career on that. So there is a demand for that now.
Mr. Mayor.
Ms. Hirsch.
Thank you. To Dr. Johnson and your team, thank you very much. Great job. Dr. Brown, my question is for you. And we don't have to necessarily go down a rabbit hole this evening. I'm sure that I can get my questions over to the superintendent, to Dr. Yolanda Johnson. But I was wondering, and primarily because we had a conversation in the Curriculum and Program Subcommittee not too long ago, if you could talk a little bit more about the FAFSA requirement. And I heard you say that 5 states are requiring it. And so I guess I'm wanting to better understand that, both the challenges, drawbacks, as well as how how long did it take you to get to a place where you actually saw a level of success with adding that as a requirement?
Before the requirement, we were still in the 90s.
You were what?
We were at 90% completion rate, even without that requirement, because we had the systems and structures in place. Remember, we made it up. So we had school-based teams that we trained on them. We have all kind of training materials. They have to be certified by the state, 3 levels, the counselors, 3 levels of certification. But the driving part was the University of Chicago is our research partner for Chicago Public Schools. And so if you go to the consortium website, you'll see all the reports over the years. The first report they published was called Potholes to College. So you ask yourself, why would it be correlated going to college with a pothole? Because there were 7 things that interfered with enrollment, one of which was money. And so they were the ones that said, if you complete a FAFSA, they're more likely to go. So we went to work around that concept. And it just caught on when Arnie and our boss, Greg Darnita, went to the Obama administration. They said, let's do this for the nation. As you remember, the Obamas were focused on college and career readiness. And so they had a 30-state pilot. Springfield Public Schools was one of the pilots. I led the pilot across the nation, putting in place the systems, practices, and structures that Chicago had used. We were the first ones to publish the completion rates by high school. When Arnie and Greg went to DC, they were the ones, you could see a national tracker on I don't know what's up there now, but the Department of Ed website had a national tracker. Every high school in America, they will show you the FAFSA completion rates. And the research says why? It's because if they fill out a FAFSA, they're more likely to go because they've taken that first step to pay for it. Now, FAFSA is complex. And that's what we have to work on. And so my goal is, don't wait to grade 11 to do it. When they come in first grade, tell the parents there's such a thing as FAFSA. What does that do for you in terms of paying for trade school, paying for whatever you need to get to your economic prosperity? So we have in Chicago, an 8-week window. First is training. Everybody has to know how to talk. The schools are tasked with having 8 to 10 FAFSA nights in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening, on the weekends. They collect the data on who is not doing it. The kids who weren't coming to school, we sent the truant people out with a laptop to say, get them to fill it out. So it's that finite detail that will get results. And I believe that's what Denal is after, Dr. Denal is after. Not just looking at, but really figuring out what do we need to do and making that commitment to do it. Now, the states who have put it in place, Louisiana is leading the nation because they have it as a requirement. They have systems instructors, and we've talked to them about what we did. But it's really tracking, because the FAFSA data has to be pulled in, scrubbed up, and given to the people in a user-friendly way, such that they can go to work and know who has and who has not completed. And the counselors, they collect the evidence so that they know every week. They know. And Springfield has been first time ever giving the data out to the schools. First time ever. We've been doing it for 15 years, but that's the first step, because paying for college or paying for whatever pathway you want to go into, it's a barrier, and we want to remove that.
Dr. Brown, I do remember early on in my administration, it was then Superintendent Dr. Alan Ingram, Secretary Duncan came out here to my alma mater, the High School of Commerce.
All right.
That was in either 2009 or 10 or 8, I remember on it, but on the, we had a round table there, yeah.
Yeah, he was very engaged around
He
this.
personally came out here.
He was very engaged. And so when he told us in Chicago, make all these kids ready, we stood up and we had to go to work. And it could happen anywhere, but it's that beliefs will drive your behaviors.
Right.
But if the superintendent has the vision and you have the data, you can do it.
And you can get the funding too.
And that's right. We had a lot of funding because we could show evidence.
Exactly, show.
Show the evidence.
Any other questions or comments?
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Collins?
Dr. Brown, one of my concerns would be, I know some states are requiring it. It's, as you just mentioned, it's a difficult form, and that's being kind.
Yes. It's being it was simplified last year.
There'll be a certain number of our students and our families, kids who are going into the military, kids who our trade school is phenomenal at sending kids right into the workforce. If we were to consider making that a requirement for graduation, those kids wouldn't get a high school diploma. And that would really worry me. You get as a matter of fact, it's kind of a double conundrum. If the kid who's going into the military, whatever branch, doesn't fill out FAFSA, therefore doesn't get the graduation, the military is then going to reject them because they're no longer taking kids without high school diplomas.
But why would they not fill it out?
It's going to be the parents and the students who are going, look, I'm going into the military or I'm going right into the workforce. I don't have any need for it. Whether it's going to get me money if I choose another path, I don't have a need for it, and I'm just not going to. Why would I fill it out?
That's exactly what we hear. So guess what we do? We have an opt-out form.
Oh, there is an opt-out.
Mm-hmm.
Because that would worry me that we would deny kids. All right,
But we have found that people change their mind. You know, until they're signed, sealed, and delivered, they have this option. Doesn't mean they have to go. They have an option. They're prepared. As Arnie said, make sure it's possible. We required every senior to fill out 3 applications. Didn't mean they were going to go. They had the option. If they wanted to do something else, that was great. But they were in place to get this work done. Now, believe it or not, policy and CPS, we have a learn, plan, succeed. Everybody has to show evidence of the plan before they graduate. And just what you said, when Dr. Jackson put that in place, it was a big blowback. They're going to drop out. But guess what? Graduation rates continue to climb. But people were thankful that we, the educators, took the time to tell people what to do, to fill in that knowledge gap. Ultimately, the decision is theirs, but they're in place to do whatever.
Do you find that was also true? Do you have the opt-out for the 3 applications for college? Because I can just hear these parents and these kids the kids already signed up to go into the military go, why would I apply to a college? I know.
Because they changed their mind. Maybe they failed the physical. Maybe they don't like boot camp. Maybe they do something and get kicked out. They got a backup plan. That's how we explain it. It doesn't, we're going to help you fill it out. We're going to help you fill out the applications. It's a whole process. We work with the English teachers, the history teachers. It's not a heavy lift, and everybody does it. So, yeah, but opt-out. You could create an opt-out form for everything.
You finally answered my question. Yeah. Do we have an opt-out?
Absolutely.
I think absolutely encouraging and helping fill out the FAFSA form is where we ought to be. Because unfortunately, money does keep kids away.
It does.
But getting less and less in Massachusetts now that you can go to the community colleges at no cost.
Yes, at no cost. And for me, filling out a form is a skill that our students lack. So the more practice they can have in filling out whatever form it is, we need to give it to them. Well, some of our kids in Chicago don't even know the zip codes. They don't know how to spell their street addresses. Things we take for granted. I'm talking from a counselor perspective that's worked with the least of these. So we have to help them, but don't assume that they know what they want to do. That's my message.
Mr. Mayor, can I say something?
Yes, if Mr. Collins is done.
Yeah.
Vice Chair Naylor.
I did also want to say, and just kind of speak to the last comment about the free education, the students still have to fill out a FAFSA to get that. So if the students do not fill out their FAFSA, they still get a bill from the school until they fill out their FAFSA. So at some point, the parents still have to learn how to do the process. And I think that if we are making sure that folks are educated on something that is very complex, even with some students that may not be with their parents, they may not know, well, I can't get my parents' information, so how am I ever going to fill out a FAFSA? Well, you have somebody to teach you how to go through the process, even if you can't access your parents' information or if you're taking care of yourself. Those are questions that a lot of our students don't get. Now, when I was in high school, we had a program in Chicopee at the Fairfield Mall that is no longer in existence. But there was a program there, right? It was so long ago. But you went there and it was a center and they did exactly what you're talking about. They made sure we understood how to do all of that because a lot of us were first time college students. We didn't have anybody to teach us ahead of us. Our parents didn't have a clue what they were doing. So having a space that the students can go to and learn made all the world of a difference in me being able to access higher education. And I was able to go to Elms College, which I loved being at, and I went for free because I had the support of adults that were teaching me the possibility, whereas I didn't know there was a possibility for me because my family didn't have it and nobody had the knowledge. But having an entity in place and the schools referred me out to make sure that I knew how to get there and how to connect. So those things are very important. And I think, if people make the decision and we have these decisions and these conversations with our students all the time, they are getting money now. They're braiding hair and they're doing eyelashes and they're like, I don't need a job. I don't need to go to college. Yeah, you do. Still need to have a backup plan. Even if you decide not to do it, show me the plan of how you're going to be successful. And so I think asking them to create a plan, and if you divert from that plan, at least you have
a plan.
And a lot of our students just unfortunately are not blessed with the ability to do this on their own because a lot of their parents weren't taught how to do it. And it's no disrespect to anyone. It doesn't mean anybody was a bad parent. It's just the reality of where we are. So I think as a district to be able to pull together and work with the families and provide this type of support at no cost to our families is extremely important. I think the focus of CTE is extremely important. And so thank you I'm going to do a lot more digging because I did not know about this particular case study and I'm so excited to learn more about it. But I do want to open up the minds of those that are listening from the public, not to make presumptions as to what we can't do. Let's talk about what we can do and have that possibility and that perspective. And I think that we are moving in a place of belief, not just us believing for our families, but also our families believing for themselves with us. And we'll see some great things happen. So thank you.
Thank you for that. And creating a space in the school, you said you went out to do it. So Arnie put college and career centers in every single school building, and that was the place everybody knew they could go to. So I have a lot of ideas. I'm so happy to be engaged with you, and this has been a great feedback and great conversations, and I look forward to it.
Dr. Brown, we appreciate it because I had mentioned it to Dr. Denal about, and I'm glad Mr. Collins brought up, what if somebody's going to go to trade or going to go to military, so they opt out there. But I also think you also back it up in Chicago where the support system is there for FAFSA, because some parents might mean well, but they're out there making sure there's a roof over the head and food on the table and clothes on it. But it does give what Ms. Vice Chair Naylor was saying, the hope, opportunity that if you want to, the door is open for you on that. So,
and we train parents too. We tell them, and you can go back. It's never too late.
Yeah.
So,
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Mr. Gonzalez.
Thank you. And again, thank you so much for sharing with us the expertise and the successes that you've had. I have a question in regards to the policy. I heard FAFSA as a requirement. Now, was this a CPS, Chicago Public Schools initiative, or was this from the state of Illinois? Can you speak more to that? Because I'm pragmatic, and if we can do something to make a difference, let's get it done.
CPS policy.
Okay, so the school board?
School board voted yes. Just like they voted yes to make Learn, Plan, Succeed a policy. You have to show evidence before you can graduate that you have a post-secondary plan. Bring in a college acceptance, bring an employment letter, bring the military signing letter.
Okay, so thank you so much. So my next question, Dr. Johnson, I know we were going over the portfolio of what was going to be required given the ballot question with MCAS. Is this something, Dr. Donnell, Dr. Johnson, and Attorney Keefe, is this something that we could put forward as a body to bring forward? Would it be within our legal right as a school committee to make that a policy and a requirement for graduation? Okay, because given the data, it's very scary hearing that we've got 44% here. This is our data, 44%. Those are the ones that are just completing this form. So, I mean, that's something that I want to put forward to the body, perhaps at a later date, Dr. Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. Gonzalez. And just the question also too, and I'll go to Ms. Hurst, is that as Dr. Brown does in Chicago, you back it up. It's full-fledged with support there, no questions asked. With the ever-changing landscape of the federal government here, I mean, I'm getting hit every 5 minutes with changes in funding laws. Would we have the capacity, sustainable capacity to do that, saying, hey, if your mom or dad or guardian can't do it, don't worry, we're here. There'll be somebody there to help you. So,
Yes, we have the Springfield Promise Program that supports FAFSA completion. And one thing I do want to share is currently, last year we were at 44%. Today we're at 54%. 54% FAFSA completion. And for our flagship CTE High School, Roger L. Putnam Vocational Technical Academy, we are at 62% FAFSA completion. Oh my gosh, 65. We were at 62 a couple of weeks ago. So we're at 65%. So I'm only sharing that for context because even our students that are attending our flagship CTE High School are going to college. Miss Ava Moore is one of them.
Right,
and we have many more that are going to Babson, Tufts, etc. I mean, so we have to also remain mindful of the fact that, again, low educational attainment will only continue to produce a cycle of poverty. So we can't, the data is there around a post-secondary credential. It's there around wages and quality of life.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So to my colleague's question, Mr. Gonzalez, we did have a subcommittee meeting where we covered and talked about this subject. And I had and still share some of the same concerns that Mr. Collins shared earlier. We only knew that, or what was put before us was that there was an opt-out for FAFSA, not necessarily an opt-out for the 4 college applications. But in having a conversation with Dr. Denal, we said, there's more conversation that could be had. There's a lot more to think about. And so while I think that this sounds fantastic, and of course this is what I would want for my 2 children who walk the halls of Springfield Public Schools every day, I also want to be realistic around sustainability. And to the mayor's point, when this was implemented in CPS many years ago, there was a breadth of funding. That's not what we're seeing in this moment. Not only that, if we're thinking about the political landscape, we have many students who are undocumented. And so whether they have to fill out the FAFSA or the MASFA, the Massachusetts Financial Aid Forms, there's still some barriers and challenges. And so for me, I think that the opt-out clause is really, really important, especially if we're thinking about implementing something like this. And we should be thinking about, like, how do we pilot and how do we scale so that we can get to a point of sustainability. But to do it, to jump in both feet, I would have a lot of pause. And in particular, I'm thinking about just 2 years ago when we had many folks come before us around the caseloads that our school adjustment counselors and school counselors were carrying. And so is it truly sustainable? Like, what would those caseloads look like? Can people handle it? And then again, I have to go back to the funding. The funding, even for college applications, it's over $100 to apply to a post-secondary institution. When I was growing up, right a little bit before you, the Urban League used to give out waivers. They used to pay for it. I don't know that there's anybody else that's doing that right now. And so I just think it's really important for us to look at it from a macro.
Mr. Chairman, if I may.
Yes.
Dr. Johnson, if you want to address that, then I'll go to Mr.
Yes, one of the things, first I do want to clarify a metric because the team, we are so immersed in the data that we were at 44% FAFSA completion last year. Today, we are at 54%. And we still can go up. We have room to go until, we have until June 30th, and then we have the rest of the summer. So we are poised to continue to increase that metric. For students applying for college, there are fee waivers for students that may not be able to afford where there's a financial barrier to paying for college applications. So there are fee waivers for that, and students will be able to qualify for those fee waivers. So it wouldn't be a barrier.
Mr. Gonzalez?
Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Chairman, and I appreciate the comments of my colleagues on this matter. So just a couple of notes. My initial consideration was just for the FAFSA requirement, not necessarily the second piece around the college application piece. Because I look at change within big organizations, institutions like our school district in a phased approach, and also given under the leadership of our superintendent. What I did hear from Dr. Yolanda Johnson, and I just want to confirm with you, Madam Superintendent, perhaps you want to kick this back to Dr. Johnson, is that the district currently has the capacity to complete these FAFSA applications, and that we could figure out from a policy standpoint around opt-out. So first question, just around capacity, and then I want to make my other points.
Thank you so much. So we do currently have capacity.
Okay.
We are making sure that we take a look at staffing to ensure that we can sustain the work in this area, as well as the fact that there are some schools that are at or above 80% on their own with their current staffing. So I know that Renaissance is currently at or above 80% and with their current staffing model. And in addition to the Springfield Promise, we actually have staff members at the district level who continue to train and support. We also have a Gear Up grant on the table, and we're currently partnered with Gear Up, who also provides some support around this. So sustainability is a legitimate concern, and making sure that our students are able to continually get this support is a valid concern. But we currently are very confident that we will be able to sustain the support that we provide for all post-secondary initiatives throughout the district.
Wonderful. Thank you so much on that piece, Dr. Denal. So that just confirmed that we currently do have the capacity to make this happen, and it's proven to have some positive metrics for students, and that we also have the authority to put in place a policy of our choosing. We want to put amendments on opt out. It's my belief, and I also believe that it's the belief perhaps of my colleagues, also as a parent of a child that attends Springfield Public Schools, that we want to see all children succeed. So again, I'm very pragmatic. Let's make it happen. Let's put the amendments in place. I think the college piece of it, given what Ms. Hurst was saying, I would be open to first passing a FAFSA requirement. And if it's our policy, that also means that if we're looking like we're backing ourselves in a corner, or this body in the near future, it could also be rescinded, paused, or whatever the will of the body is in the future. So again, my proposal, and again, we're not voting, we're just having a discussion this evening, is that we consider a FAFSA requirement moving forward. We do the due diligence around opt-out. I think we have much more to gain than we have to lose. So that's my position on it. And again, if it's our policy, we can make the tweaks and the edits on it. Thank you for confirming, Dr. Denal and Dr. Johnson, that we do have the capacity. And I think from a policy standpoint, if we make it a requirement and cement it, we can start moving folks in the right direction so Dr. Denal and her team can do this amazing work. Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Gonzalez. The key point here would be the communication, if this policy, because you're going to get a lot of people that, do not read between the lines, and you got to hit them right in the head, because they're going to say, as Mr. Collins indicated, myself and Ms. Hurst indicated, we mean well here, but they're going to say, my kid can't go into the military now. My kid can't go into the workforce field, or this, or my young daughter or son can't go here because so communication is a key, and you'll get some that'll spin it saying you're trying to make this a hindrance on it, even if they hear opt out or this or that. I think it's very noble to let our kids our students, I should say, that hey, you can and will achieve whatever field you want to go into. But I just think communication is the key, because some are going to spin it. Some will spin it saying, "You're stopping my kid from going into from getting a high school degree. Now he or she can't go in the military. He or she was certified to go, or he to go into a vocational technical program." So those are some points that have to be looked at. It's very admirable. Don't get me wrong, but got to be careful.
we are believing in the best, that we are up for that opportunity, and we are believing in what is possible to change the trajectory of our beloved Springfield.
That's not. I complete confidence, Dr. Johnson, and you, Dr. Brown, the pioneer in that. But that will come up. That will come up. No, no. Come, why don't you come up to? Yes, we have the Commonwealth Community College, and I think the point was brought up also to realize that you have to fill out that FAFSA
To get
to technically get it.
yes.
It's a good point.
So I want to tell you that Chicago has a roadmap program. So it's with our community colleges, and it connects the CTE kids straight in so they can get, the next level of certification. I'll give you an example. The automotive kids can go to the 2-year and get a mechanic certification with Mercedes-Benz. Then our 4-year college does a whole nother thing with them. So I don't want people to think it's just, and I don't know what your CTE certifications are, but unless they're the high quality ones, they're going to need something more. I mean, there's a level of certification, so I don't know what they're getting, and I think this is the research part, an opportunity to look. But I want people to know, Denver Public Schools, they get 5 years to do a high school diploma, because the last 2 are CTE certifications at the 2-year. So it's a lot of new innovation out there, so I'm just happy that you all are open to hearing. But that free college, I would make them all sign up and fill that FAFSA out, because our people, our young people, don't know what they don't know. Gaming is a big thing. DePaul University has gaming scholarships, 4-year degrees, but we as practitioners don't know about all the new. So we have to do the training and investments in that area.
Thank you, Dr. Brown. Any other questions for Dr. Brown or Dr. Johnson?
Just a comment, not a question, that I think you mentioned communication. I think the first communication we need to do is have our community department reach out to parents and see what do they know about it, and where are they? What are they thinking about? I think we need to get some information. How big a hill do we have to climb in convincing parents of this kind of thing? So I think we ought to. The secretary's, the assistant superintendent's not here, so what you always do in a meeting is give the one who's not here a job. So, but I think we should do some outreach. Let's see what kind of a big hill we're going to have to climb, so that we don't get to the point where we're talking about it and we get people coming in here to scream at us.
Yes, which does happen a few times, right?
And it'll happen again too.
Yeah. Any other questions or comments of whether Superintendent Denault, Dr. Brown, or Dr. Johnson? We appreciate the Windy City being here very much so. Okay. Okay, we'll now move to reports of standing committees. A is student parent concerns. Ms. Gresham, please.
No report, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Ms. Gresham. B is maintenance, buildings and maintenance committee. Mr. Gonzalez, please.
No report.
Thank you, Mr. Gonzalez. C is legislative contracts committee.
No
Vice
report.
Chair Naylor.
No report, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Naylor. D is curriculum programs committee. Ms. Hurst.
No report, Mr.
Thank you, Ms. Hurst. E is budget finance committee. Vice Chair Naylor.
No report, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. F is vocational education committee. Mr. Gonzalez.
No report, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I have a question.
Yes, sure.
So there was the recent vote by DESI,
Yeah.
or the Board of Ed, I think it was,
Yeah.
around the vocational school lottery process. And so I did want to kind of ask if Mr. Gonzalez would be willing to hold in your next subcommittee to discuss that and what that looks like and how that impacts our admission process for Putnam. and SciTech CTE program as well.
I'm glad.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Mr. Gonzalez. Glad you asked that, Vice Chair Nick. We stood on our own. I think we're one of the few districts saying that, hey, listen, we want to call our shots with our kids. I think they did make some amendments to it where extenuating circumstance can be looked at, but
Yeah.
you know, I think we're pretty firm. These are our kids here, and we wanted to be able to shots of individuals, and you know, I guess they wanted to put it across. Well, there might be people that are being disqualified. You got to meet certain criteria within reason, but I think they did have a couple of, I don't want to say opt-outs, but extenuating circumstance. But thank you, Mr. Gonzalez, and thank you, Chair Naylor.
They did,
Did they do something? Cause I thought they made a little.
at the very end of their announcement, they finally got and said, but this is going to be a local decision. That however your process is, basically you're going to be able to keep it. They waited till the end to get there, but at the very end, so having some discussion and getting some more clarity on that would help us.
So did they? Because I saw that's officially in there. That
Officially, it was, and they said it verbally. I haven't seen it in writing yet, but that the local community would still be able to set.
That wasn't in writing.
It wasn't in the original, but it was verbally, the secretary said the local committee would have the store. So we need to verify what's there. It'll help us with our discussion.
Mr. Gonzalez, please.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. I was just going to make a request of Attorney Keefe if you could provide us some clarity on that. As in past, legal counsel has provided us a memo or a brief out to the full body so that we could review that. And of course, we can have a subcommittee meeting to discuss further.
Thank you, Mr. Gonzalez. Thank you, Attorney Key, because that would make it a moot point and keep it in-house here that we want to do. Did you want to come up to the?
My understanding was the local part was you can, if they give you certain criteria to do, so attendance, if it's over, I believe, 27 days of missed attendance, the change was, my understanding of the change was, they're not going to look at attendance prior to 7th grade. I think discipline was the same situation, and there was a change on the discipline as far as you have to be, if they're actually convicted of a crime outside of the school, or I'm sorry, if the incident was in school, that would just be a disqualification. I'm not so sure on the local level. I think the local level comment was you can choose these criteria, attendance and discipline, but again, it's limited as the amount of attendance that you can do 27 absences after 7th grade, and with the conviction, I believe there's certain criteria that was fenced in around what criminal convictions would disqualify the student or not. And the local level option was you can choose those as criteria, or you can not choose those, but you can't add additional criteria.
So they dictate the criteria.
Yeah, they may have adjusted a little bit, but my understanding was you don't have as much local control as you used to. And
it was
really pushing for the lottery.
Attorney, it wasn't a unanimous vote. I know there was maybe 2 or 3 that voted against it.
8-2.
It was 8-2.
Yeah.
Didn't they say some of the same things about their academics too, that you can?
I believe academics is not a listed criteria. I mean, you have to be passing, but I don't believe. I think you have to pass the 7th grade, but I believe they took any, and I will have to double check, and I can provide a memo to the committee. But my understanding was that was not a criteria that that was a local option criteria that the school committees could choose from. They had certain amounts that you could pick to. Otherwise, it was an open lottery.
So obviously, there's still a lot of questions that getting together and finding the information would be very helpful.
They had presented some last-minute updates. There was a lot of last-minute additions to, what was considered public comment, what the summaries were. I mean, they did a lot of work to try to summarize all the public comment, but there were some complaints from some individuals and from some groups about how the public comment was summarized. I did notice our resolution was there. They did talk about it. They didn't actually have the resolution there, but I can certainly provide a memo kind of outlining all the changes.
Yeah, Attorney Keefe, that'd be very helpful. I mean, the Vice Chair Naylor and I were just talking about, young people all of a sudden say, yeah, everybody's going there. I want to go there too, but they might not have the direct drive that they want to be in that type of program, then they end up, I want to move somewhere else, which a slot is lost.
Right.
Slots are lost for kids that really are moving into that career field. But, Mr. Gonzalez, thank you. We'll call a meeting, thanks for clarifying that. Any other questions or comments on that? Okay, hearing none, we'll now move to Technology Committee, Mr. Collins.
No report, Mr.
Thank you, Mr. Collins. School Safety Committee, Ms. Gresham, please.
No report, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, Ms. Hurst.
Report, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Report of the student representative, and she's back. Ava Moore, senior at Putnam Vocational Technical Academy.
Yes.
Ava, you're up.
Hello, guys. Again. Hi. So, good evening, everyone. As you know, my name is Ava Moore. Hope you're all happy to see me again. Thank you. As we're nearing the end of the school year, it is bittersweet looking back on the last 4 years and how Putnam has not only changed within itself, but has changed the students in it. If there's anything I've learned from attending Putnam, I've learned how to push myself to do better, not only in academics, but also in my personal life. At Putnam, I've had the opportunity to take up not one, not two, but 3 college classes and now college credits with both STIC's College Now program and HCC's dual enrollment program. Some students I know have even taken 4 or 5, if I'm not mistaken. But this was such an incredible opportunity for me to increase my writing skills and get a feel for what college is like, but also it's also saving me thousands of dollars at the University of Hartford, where I'll be attending in the fall. And I'm extremely grateful. Calm down. I'm not done yet. So now I wanted to introduce a few events and I wanted to spotlight. Number 1 was Decision Day, which was held on May 1st, where many of you, including Dr. Denom, attended and spoke to not only the Putnam Class of 2025 seniors, but also the Class of 2026 juniors. We wanted to shine a spotlight on all of our seniors despite their path, because no matter what their path is, it is their path. So no matter if they're going to a 4-year college, a 2-year college, a military branch, or straight into the workforce, our 12th grade team, especially our counselors, wanted us to feel celebrated and appreciated. From this event, our seniors felt seen. With each category growing by the numbers, we had a DJ, a dance party, and lots of streamers. All of the bling didn't outshine the purpose of this event, which was to showcase all of our seniors, so thank you to all the staff that did that. Last Friday, May 16th, the sophomore class, kept our movie night tradition going. They hosted a movie night where they played Teen Beach Movie in the gym as an end of the year get together for all of our students. The movie night became a tradition last year with our senior class president, and both the junior and the sophomore presidents this year have kept the tradition alive. It was an inexpensive way to get all the students together and raise some money for their class, and I hope that they keep the tradition going for years to come. On May 27th, Putnam Cosmetology Shop is bringing free barber services for one day only, starting at 10 a.m. for all Putnam students only. This is a perfect opportunity, especially for our seniors, to get free lineups, tapers, and fades for all of our upcoming events, including prom, class day, and graduation. This way, we are able to support local barbers as well as save some money. Over the last year, it has been incredibly stressful, especially with all of our senior events, picking where I'm going to go to college for the next 4 years, and how I'm going to balance all the stresses while also enjoying these last moments, including class day, which is being held next Thursday, May 29th, prom, which is next Saturday, May 31st, and of course, class of 2025 graduation on June 3rd. And I wanted to say thank you for allowing me to come back and speak to all of you today. It's been an incredible opportunity, and I will see you all on June 3rd for Putnam's class of 2025 graduation right next door.
All right, Ava. Good job. Any questions or comments on Ava's report? Did I say you don't want any questions? We're gonna ask you 13 now. No, you did a great job, Ava. Thank you very much, dear. Okay, we will now go to a report of Superintendent Dr. Denon, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to direct your attention, all the school committee members, your attention to the contracts report for the month of March that is in your folder. And last but certainly not least, I just wanted to publicly acknowledge and recognize that one of our very own elementary teachers of social studies at Indian Orchard Elementary School, has received the 2025 Cochran Award for Excellence in Teaching Elementary Social Studies from the Massachusetts Council of Social Studies Teachers. This is an amazing award. Not many teachers receive this award, so we are very proud of Miss Tara Boudreau for receiving this award. When this award was brought to my attention, I immediately shared this opportunity with Director Tom Rochelle, and he immediately went about recommending teachers because we have, again, excellent teachers in our district. So I am not surprised that one of our teachers is a recipient of this outstanding statewide award, and we applaud her and recognize her, and we will make sure that we get her flowers to her tomorrow. Yes, we have a bouquet of flowers for you, Tara. Once again, congratulations, and we thank you, Miss Boudreau.
Congratulations, Ms. Woodrow. That's a prestigious award. Any questions or comments pertaining to superintendent's report? Dr. Denal? Okay, hearing none. Unfinished business? Hearing none. New business? Hearing none. Is there a motion to adjourn? Motion made by Ms. Hurst. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Gresham. Roll call vote is required. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Mr. Gonzalez.
Yes.
Attorney Murphy. Absent. Mr. Collins. Ms. Gresham.
Yes.
Ms. Hurst.
Yes.
Ms. Naylor. Mayor Sarno.
Yes, board of official votes, matter passes. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Have a good evening, good health, God bless, and remember our veterans who made the ultimate sacrifices and their families for Memorial Day. Good night.